Hey everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I'm here to share with you guys 3 more little tags or embellishments that I've created to add to my big holiday wreath that I'm doing this little series for. This is part 3 of the series, and these images that I have Copic colored up are all from the Mama Elephant Yappy Woofmas stamp set. It's an adorable holiday set, and I absolutely love these little puppies, and it was so much fun coloring them up and slightly embellishing each of these little tags. I'm going to share with you guys the whole process start to finish, and I hope you enjoy it and find it helpful. So the first little image is of this adorable little puppy that's holding a Christmas card. And I am consistently using the same reds and the aqua colors that I used in the prior two of this series, because I want all of the segments or images for this puppy wreath to have the same consistent color family. So the puppies are all colored up differently, but all of their accessories are colored up with these same 3 reds and same 3 BG colors from the Copic marker set. And at first I thought it would be fun to just do little spots around the eyes, and I could have ended there, but I decided to extend the spotted areas to kind of reach more around the little puppy's head and also connect a little bit to the brown ear. The wreath, I decided to color up with those teal colors rather than a traditional green. And the hat, obviously, I did with the red. And I'm just putting in a warm gray flooring here. It's a W3. And then I'm going to put in the shadow or the cast shadow of the little puppy with a slightly darker W5. Now I'm going to go in and add a little bit more shading to the brown areas. That is with the E33 rather than the 31. And the white areas I wanted to give a W0, just a warm but very, very pale gray so that it looks almost white. The card I colored up with this R30 to match the inside of the ear, but later on off camera I actually color that up red because I'm going to lay over top of that a red colored card. And here you just see me using a Sakura black glaze pen to highlight the eyes and the little nose, just a little shine and a slight bit of texture. And I added foam dots behind the bottom portion of the card and glued the top part of the card just underneath the little puppy's muzzle, so it looks like it's actually holding that card. The next little puppy is popping out of a little present and has a little kind of winking expression. I think it's so sweet. And again, I'm using the same aquas and reds to color up the present packaging. And I'm using the darkest areas underneath the puppy, at the bottom of the present, and on the parts of the top of the lid of the present that are going to be cinched by that ribbon. The ribbon is colored up with the base color of the R35, and then I'm going in with the darkest R39 to shade in the cinched areas of the bow, the top and the bottom of the box where the cast shadow of the puppy would be, and maybe the floor would be a little bit darker, and then I'm blending in with that mid-tone R37. Now I decided I'm gonna, like for the card, but this time on camera, I am fussy cutting out the lid of the box because I thought it would be fun to add just a tiny bit of dimension there. So I fussy cut that out, and I am, I think, looking for, just the markers so that I can color up this puppy like a golden or a yellow lab. And I'm trying to figure out which kind of yellows and beiges I would use, and the undercoating is that YR31, but I thought that it was too bright a yellow, so I'm toning it down with that E31, and then I am blending out with an E50s to have like the palest part around the muzzle, but I'm finding that it's not connecting well, so I wanted to bridge that color gap, so I'm using an E51. This is just kind of to show you guys that there's no right or wrong combination here. If you just blend and look at the colors as you're putting them down, you can really make a lot of different colors work. Now I blended that back out with an E51 to connect everything, and I think I like that kind of blended yellow mustardy kind of look. And again, for the floor, I'm doing the simple W3 and W5, just where the box might be casting a shadow, the darker warm gray. And here I am using a Tuxedo Black Memento marker to ink the edges of that present lid so that you don't see the white edges of the paper. I'm sorry, it's a little bit blurry there. The camera is focusing on the actual little colored up puppy, and I'm a little bit off screen, but you can see that I've inked all around the edges, and I've put foam dots, really thin ones at the top of the bow, at the top of the present there, so that it has a little bit of dimension. And I like that, just as a hint of dimension to add a little interest to this image. And now I'm using, again, the Sakura Black Glaze Pen to re-accentuate the nose and the eyes of the puppy. That slight bit of sheen and tiny bit of dimension really makes a difference. And I think I added a white highlight with a Uniball white gel pen. The last little puppy is going to be colored up like a terrier, and I've started with a pale E50, and then around the muzzle and by the ears, I wanted to add a warm gray. A lot of terriers have this kind of coloring, kind of almost a black, warm gray around the ears and muzzle, and then a golden color around the rest of the body. So I wanted to try doing that. And it's really easy to get that fuzzy, furry look just by doing little bits of flicking. Now I am adding a warmer kind of tan color around the muzzle and eyes to give a little bit more dimension, and also to kind of accentuate the face of the puppy. And now I'm laying in the shadowed areas of the puppy. If you're interested in any of the Copic colors that I use, the specifics, I'm going to be listing them all on my blog post, which will be linked in the description box below. I'm also, again, extending out those little flicking lines to give the puppy more of a fuzzy look. And then I'm going in with a darker color around the muzzle and ears just to give it a little bit more dimension, even in those dark areas. And blending back in, continuing to flick to give that fuzzy texture under the ears, under the scarf of the puppy, at the bottom of the feet. And now for the candy cane, I'm going to be coloring that up with a red family, laying in the base lightest color, then going in with the darkest color for the shadowed areas of that candy cane, and then bridging the two with that mid-tone, that R35, and then going back in with just a dot of that lightest R35. For the scarf, I decided to use that Aqua Trio, and it's really simple coloring. The spaces are tiny, but I do want to try and use all three colors to get as much of that three-dimensional look and not have it be flat, even in those tiny, tiny areas of the image. Again, I'm going to color in the floor with the same W3 and W5. All of this is really because I want each of the images to have a consistent color family look, so that the whole wreath looks cohesive, even though all the puppies are colored up all differently. I decided this candy cane could use a little bit more interest, so I'm using the fine point side of an extra fine Sharpie marker to add just a little extra line in the white areas of the candy cane. This seems like a small little touch, but I think it really adds much more interest to the image. I've laid all three of them out here, and I realized for this last puppy, I didn't have something popping or different like I did for the other two with the card and the present lid, so I'm using Ranger Glossy Accents to add that shine. And that's the finished third little puppy. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having an awesome crafty day. Happy holidays.